Kendrick dropped an album, but it's not what you think it is. More on that later. But as a result of this release, Lil Wayne threw a strop on Twitter. Snoop Dogg apologised for being stoned. And Drake would like to speak to the manager. This is the news on You Call That Radio.
You Call That Radio.
Drake the type to sue his own label when he loses a rap battle. Sounds like a joke, but it's actually a thing. All Drake had to do was go quiet for a few months and then drop a pop hit and everyone would move on. There's no shame in losing to one of the greatest rappers of all time, but his ego will not allow it. Certified lawyer boy now claims that he didn't lose the battle and instead it was bots of Universal that made it look like he lost. I mean, that is nonsense, man, for a start. People are singing Not Like Us word for word like it's the national anthem. The streaming numbers is all he has. He's never had the respect of true lyricists, so losing the battle of the streams is really getting to him. It's all he had left. And now Kendrick's playing the Super Bowl and it's killing him. So much so that he's actually decided to go to Australia on tour at the same time. But it's an interesting court case because if this doesn't get thrown out or settled, then it could be very interesting because there's no doubt that major labels do have shady practices. And I think the reason that Drake is so sure of bots, shady Spotify deals and reactors being paid is probably because Universal normally does that for him. So there's a chance that this could blow everything wide open. Some of the industry secrets could get out there, stuff that the underground isn't really privy to. So what's he actually doing? Does he believe this? I feel like he might want to get dropped at this stage. My understanding is he was paid hundreds of millions of dollars up front. So if Universal were to drop him, he could make a lot of money going to a rival or even as an independent artist. So I hope he's got some sort of long-term goal. He's playing a bit of 4D chess. Because right now it just looks like he's raging that he get beat. And he did get beat. There's no doubt about it. He got beat fair and square. But he's just so raging that he's willing to sue his own label. Just because he's in a huff. And because nobody plays Not Like Us in the clubs that he attends. Because he's probably got yes men that go in front of him and make sure that the DJ knows Drake's coming along, do not play Not Like Us. And I'm sure that all his yes men are saying, "Oh man, you won the battle." Or he's got, super fans that are saying, "No, you won the battle." And he's still kind of in a denial stage, is what I think's happening. But there could be more going on that I'm not aware of. But speaking of denial, Lil Wayne has thrown the toys at the pram as well, due to the opening track on Kendrick's new album. Is it an album? We'll get to that in a little minute. But Kendrick said, "Miss my Uncle Little Maine. He said he would kill me if I didn't make it. Now I'm possessed by a spirit and they can't take it. Used to bump the Carter 3. I held my rolly chain proud. Irony. I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down." And that's obviously a reference to a few things. It's another stray for J. Cole who did a song called "I Let Nas Down." Because he later on goes to say that Nas was the only one that congratulated him on getting the Super Bowl. But this was obviously too much for Lil Wayne, who has been saying that he felt really hurt that he wasn't playing the Super Bowl. So let's just have a little look at the tweet. "Man, what the fuck I do? Man, what the fuck I do? I just be chilling and they still come from my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me. But I shall destroy if disturbed on me. Love." So Lil Wayne is actually so upset and hurt by the Super Bowl that he's trying to make it like Kendrick's the GOAT. I don't think Kendrick actually made a diss there at all. I don't think it was a straight out and out diss. But I think Lil Wayne is so hot that I think that maybe a diss is coming. I think Lil Wayne will be in the studio trying to come up with something. I really think that would be a terrible idea for Lil Wayne. He's not the star he used to be. He's not the writer he used to be. And that's sad, man, because it took me a while to respect Lil Wayne. I didn't understand it, but now I would actually rate him as a god tier lyricist. For a while I'd only really heard the chart hits, didn't understand the hype, but I'll admit that I was wrong on that one. His back catalogue and features are outrageous. Also, I've seen loads of behind the scenes footage of the way that he puts music together, how he doesn't write it down, and how he just records. It's just a breath of fresh air. But that was in the past. There's no way that he can say that he deserves to play the Super Bowl more than Kendrick, who's the biggest rapper in the world right now. He's not on that level anymore. And it's a shame because he's a genuine character in hip-hop. But come on. And it's not just the fame, the level of fame he's at now. But if I was Jay-Z or someone in the committee that decides who plays the biggest show on earth, I certainly wouldn't be booking Lil Wayne for many reasons. If you just look at his recent WrestleMania performance, you've got to watch that and say, this guy is a liability. You know, from a booker's point of view, you can't put Lil Wayne on the stage as the main attraction at the Super Bowl, which is the highest rated, I think only second to the World Cup final. So, and this one every year, it's the biggest show, the biggest stage in the world. And look at that Lil Wayne footage of a recent performance at WrestleMania. You can't do that. You can't make him the main act to do the Super Bowl half times. And I think most of his hits are probably not suitable for family stuff either. But New Orleans is Lil Wayne's home city, so that is why it feels like he's been overlooked. It obviously means a lot to him. So it would be amazing if Kendrick did somehow pick up the phone and invited him out to do a verse. It would mean a lot to him. It'd mean a lot to the crowd. I'm sure the crowd would pop big time for a surprise verse from Lil Wayne. And it would also wind up Drake. So I can see it happening. I can actually see it would. There's a lot of people in hip hop who are taking the side of Lil Wayne in this one. So I think if Kendrick was to invite Lil Wayne out, then that would be the move to make. I think everyone would enjoy that. Now, Kdot also name dropped Snoop Dogg for posting the Drake diss. Now, I don't actually remember him actually posting the diss, so can someone correct me in the comments? Has there been a Mandela effect? I remember watching a video of Snoop Dogg reacting to the Drake diss. So Drake had basically brought out a diss against Kendrick, which was an AI diss from Tupac and Snoop Dogg. And Snoop Dogg was kind of like, oh, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. And at the time, I did think it was a bit snide from Snoop Dogg, a bit snaky, that he didn't want to take sides. Because you would think that, you know, he passed the torch on as King of the West to Snoop Dogg passed it on to Kendrick. So you would think that he would take sides or he would just say nothing. But I did get a bad vibe off of that video. But I don't remember him actually posting the tailor-made diss. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I don't remember him actually posting the diss. But everybody's acting like it is. So I don't know. Mandela effect? Is this a Mandela effect? I don't know. But Snoop responded. So basically, Kendrick says in the diss, it's not really a diss, but what Kendrick says is, whatever they'll call me crazy, everybody questionable, turn me to an Eskimo, I drew the line in decimals. Snoop posted tailor-made, I prayed it was the edibles, I couldn't believe it. It was only right for me to let it go. Won the Super Bowl and Nas the only one to congratulate me. All these guys agitated. I'm just glad they're showing their faces. To which You know, it was just a sort of a little poke at Snoop Dogg, to which Snoop Dogg responded with 5-star, 5 mics, fire. The new Kendrick album is absolute fire, and it was the edibles. So Snoop Dogg quite clearly wants absolutely no part in that, because Snoop Dogg is about the money, and some sort of beef with Kendrick would be a bad look, no doubt about it. Now, back to the album itself. GNX dropped with no promo on Friday night. It's getting good reviews for the most part, but some super fans are a bit disappointed there isn't the usual quadruple entendres or jazz sections, and it's maybe not as experimental as previous releases. Also seems a bit short, but that's because I do not believe this is the album. I think this is a mixtape, and the actual album will drop around Super Bowl time. I've got a few reasons for thinking this, but one, this is a straight up rap album. I think he wanted to show how easily he could make a West Coast banger using beats and MCs mostly from the Bay Area. He made something simple compared to his usual vibes, because he's following up from the unmitigated success of Not Like Us. He made some bangers for the street to shut people up who say he isn't capable of doing that. Of course he's capable of doing that. There's also a song on it called The Heart Part 6, and if anyone knows anything about Kendrick, he always releases a song called The Heart that usually comes out a couple of weeks or a couple of months before the album drops. So that suggests that this is just the hype for his new album that's coming out. I also like the fact that he just called it the Heart Part 6 and doesn't mention that Drake had a diss track called The Heart Part 6. He just ignored it completely and got on with his thing, which I thought was quite funny. I also suspect that many of these songs were prepared specifically for the Drake beef. I think Kendrick probably expected this to go back and forth a bit more, and I think he did say in previous songs that he had 4 or 5 more songs in the canon. So I think he was considering just dropping a Drake diss album, and I think he's just maybe rewritten a lot of it and just thought he'd put something out just to kind of follow up on the success of all these diss tracks and get the hype going for the Super Bowl and the real release at the start of the year, is what I think. But he thought he was going to have to do an album worth of tracks to beat Drake, but it became quite apparent from the moment he did his pop-up victory lap. It's obvious he won. It's obvious that Drake gave up. So I think he made the songs slightly more conceptual. It's nods and interpolations from the likes of Nas, Tupac, Marvin Gaye. It may even turn out that each song has a nod to one of the artists he grew up listening to from Generation X, hence the album title GNX. Also a play on words to a car he always wanted or something. I don't know much about cars, so I can't really say. But I do also think that Kendrick fans have a habit of looking a bit too deep. You know, like, the reason he shouts mustard is because he is above all the beef now. And I just think he just shouts mustard out of respect to Mustard on the Beat, yo. His delivery, cadence, terrifying, great lyrics, some good hooks, catchy beats. But also the preview snippet featured music not even on the album. So mark my words, a fuller, richer, more complex album will be dropping around the Super Bowl. Lil Wayne may be a special guest, and Drake will be in Australia as he tries to pretend none of this is happening. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. It should call that radio. So I want to hear your call. That's what it's all about. And this is the news. This is the bit where most people would say, like, subscribe, and join my Patreon at patreon.com/you call that radio. But that's something that I would never, ever, ever do. Bye!